Welcome back. Today, I went back and reread The Maze Runner, and I just wanted to read it because I haven't read the book in like years, and I was not even thinking about watching the movie. But then when I read the book, and I was like, dude, let me watch the movie and see what the key difference is. Because I remember liking the book and I remember liking the movie, but now that I've watched and read the movie in the same like freaking week, the book is 10 times better. And the reason why is the first fucking point right here. Everything felt so rushed in the movie. It felt like ba-bang, ba-bang, bang, ba-bang, bang, bang, game over. And as good as I don't know, it's a movie, so they have to make it exciting. They can't really stick on certain things and do certain things like the book did, explaining everything and setting up everything. The book, there could be plot holes in there, obviously, but like it felt explained. Obviously, the maze is huge as fuck. Like, first of all, the maze is crazy big. Like, I remember in the ending of the movie how big it was. Obviously, the book is like this pretty much the same size. That shit's huge, dog. Like, I all I can think of is the world is in catastrophe, kill zone, whatever, blah. But there's literally a zombie apocalypse going on, and you built a maze in the middle of the desert. I don't know about that, but whatever. It just felt rushed. It felt like they missed so many things. It felt like when I was watching the movie, why didn't they do this? Why like in the timeline, the way that the timeline was in the movie, like things would happen before they would happen in the book. And I felt like that was wrong because it wouldn't explain certain things and the reason why people were doing certain actions. And it kind of just felt like the movie, by the way, the movie was good. It was a good movie, but compared to the actual book, I feel like it failed in a lot of ways. In the characters are coming up. You see them, but like overall, I wanted to say the movie feels rushed. Everything felt like fast paced. Bro, if this shit was a TV show shot like like the way the hundred is, like the first two three seasons, oh my god, oh my god, be one of the best TV shows ever. Another thing. There doesn't seem to be a lot of people. In the book, it kind of feels like there's 60, 70, 80 maybe. In the movie, it feels like there's 35, 40 max. And it's because of a key difference that they don't say earlier in the movie. So, and also the Glade terminology, this is not very smooth at all. Whenever anybody says like one of the Glade terms, it feels weird and awkward. It doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like shank or clunk, and I'd be like, ugh, that sounded weird coming out of your mouth, dude. Like, did you guys not practice saying these words before you like acted it out on camera? That's what I'm thinking. They didn't. They didn't. So that's just how shit is. That's how like I can't expect like because I feel like that's a really good thing to do in a book, but like in a movie, calling somebody shank or shuck face or that's a piece of clunk or slint head, you know what, like the Glade terminology, like I don't expect that shit to be acted out well, but it was something that I noticed. The maze in the book is crazy. Yeah, I already said that. By the way, real quick, where does the maze runner take place? Does anybody know? Put that in the comments down below. Now we're gonna get into the character differences. Holy shit, were there a lot? Every fucking character was kind of different, except for two who were at the end there. But the main one, Albie. First of all, in the book, Albie seems like a leader. He seems like a guy who was scarred, who's been through it all, he's no nonsense. He understands shit, and like they killed this dude's whole character because Albie gets stung and he gets saved. He remembers, and then he tries to kill himself after he tries telling Thomas what he remembers, and he realizes he can't trust himself. So he does this, and then he also burned down the maze room in the book. Like Albie did so many things. Like he felt like an important character in the book. In the movie, kind of felt like a side piece, bro. He didn't feel like like he felt like a leader for like like that first like little walk around with Thomas, but like outside of that, he gets stung, he gets that little serum, and then he just dies. It was bang, bang, bang. I felt like Gally was more important than him. Gally felt like more of a leader than Albie was. And in the book, Galby's a piece of shit, crazy guy who only has a few friends, who's like fucked up in the head. He's not charismatic like the movie. He's not understandable and tolerable like the movie. In the book, he seems like a crazy kid who's afraid of the maze and he wants power, but he's not really a leader at all. You know what I mean? They made fun of him multiple times. But in the movie, he's tolerable. He's understandable. I get where he's coming from, and he feels like a leader. And then also Thomas. Thomas was the biggest fuck up. Shout out to Dylan O'Brien because he was great acting. But bro, in the movie, in the book, Thomas feels like a greenie. In the movie, he feels like he's been there for 10 years. I don't, like in the book he says, "Oh, this place is familiar. Oh, I feel like I know where I am in this place." But he doesn't tell anybody. It's in his thoughts. In the movie, this motherfucker's there for 3 days. He's running shit. People are like, "What do we do?" And they look at Thomas, and Thomas is telling them what to do. What? Like in the book, it felt like there was a hierarchy. It felt like Thomas was one of the guys. It felt like Thomas was like he was learning about the maze. He was understanding shit. In the movie, kind of felt like boom, bada bing bang. Thomas the leader now. We're gonna listen to Thomas. And I didn't really like that. Like all the way until the end. Until the end, when Thomas remembers and then he becomes the leader, I'm fine with that. But before, like he's telling people what to do and like that shit pissed me off. Like I didn't feel like it was a bad thing in the movie, but it just felt like this guy who just came is telling all you seniors what to do. Really, really. Come on, y'all. Come on, bro. We kidding me? Next, Teresa. Teresa did not feel as important. She doesn't feel like a greenie in the movie, but in the movie she doesn't feel like it's important in the first movie. I kind of like in the first book. This is how the shit was. Thomas and Teresa are super tight. They're telling each other things, but they're not telling anybody else. She felt important to the character. She felt important to the getting out of the maze. She felt important to figuring out the secret to the maze. She felt important of being like a key puzzle. In the movie, she kind of just there and then she's like there. I don't know how to. I didn't feel her presence. I really didn't. I didn't feel like she was important. I feel like if you replaced her, it would have been fine. I feel like if there was anybody else, if she wasn't there and Thomas was the last one, it would have been fine. Like I didn't feel anything from her. Another fucking important relationship they fucked up. Chucky. There was literally one scene in that entire movie where I felt like it was a good scene with Chuck. Everything else kind of just he didn't feel important at all. At all in the book, he's the first Thomas. He's the first friend that Thomas makes in the entire glade. He shows Thomas a lot of things. He gets Thomas some food. He gets Thomas a bed. He shows Thomas these things. He's Thomas's like guide. He's like scared, but he's also like, dude, you're taking this well than I was like fucking clunking my pants for the first month or so until like you got here. It felt like Chuck was like a lot more important in the book. It felt like Chuck's and Thomas' relationship in the book was a lot more important, and that's why the final scene in the end it hit to me, but it didn't really hit because in the book I felt that shit because Thomas and Chuck were real good, like real good. Like in the book and the movie, I think there was one scene where Thomas is in prison for like running on the maze. He's in prison, and then what's his name? Chuck goes up to him. He gives him a piece of thing. He says, "Dude, whenever you get out, give this to my parents." It just felt so random. Like I feel like the scene was thoughtful, but it didn't feel like they were close enough for that type of situation. Like I didn't really like that. I feel like they made Chuck not important. I feel like this is why like if it was a show, it would have been a lot easier. Next up, Winston, Zart, and Frypan. I'm gonna say this: these three are not really like super important characters in the book, but they are keepers. They are have like scenes where I felt like they were important. I remembered their names, and I get it. This guy's Winston Churchill. This guy's Mozart, and this guy Fry. I don't even know who Frypan is. Frypan, but like Frypan's real name is like something else. You know what I mean? It's like a scientist or a famous person in the past. He was an important character to the book. These three kind of just felt like add-on side characters. They had some lines here and there. They, the biggest issue I have is that these guys didn't feel like keepers. I felt like Thomas was running the show. That's what I felt like. Those are my overall thoughts. Those are my character differences. Now I want to get into the shit that was in the book, the movie that I was just like, all right, the box scene was short. It was like a minute, and I know you don't have to do more than that, but I felt like in the book it was a lot more like I understood it a lot more intensely and understand. Actually, you know what? I feel like there was nothing wrong with this. Let me cut this out. That was a bad thing. Oh, but this is also important. Galley was the first person to get him out, and Thomas ran out the box. In the book, it was Albie and Newt, and then he got out, and then he kind of was just confused. He didn't run away. He was just confused, and then he was like, "Why is everybody?" Then he's looking around, and Ozzy. Then everybody leaves him alone. Albie and what's his name? Newt show him up there. Another thing, well, we call them grievers, is what Newt tells them in the movie, and then we never seen him. In the book, Newt deadass woke up Thomas like at 4 in the morning, takes him to the window of the maze, and shows him the grievers, and explains to him why being in the maze, not explains to him, shows him why the maze is dangerous. Not we call them grievers. Nobody's ever seen one. You know what I mean? Like in the book, Thomas sees what he's going up against. In the movie, he doesn't know. So I didn't feel like there was real true stakes in him going out into the maze. In the book, he's seen the fucking monster. He's seen the monster and still decided to go in the maze to save Albie and Minho. In the movie, he doesn't fucking know, so he just goes out there anyway. So yeah, they say nobody's seen a griever. Also, another thing, it's 3 years in the maze, one person every time, instead of 2 years and a group at the beginning. So in the book, it's 2 years, and there's a group at the beginning, and then one person comes up with supplies every week, and then one person comes up every month. That's how it was in the book. In the movie, it started off 3 years ago, and there's one person per month. I'm thinking there's 36 people then, right? Because 12 times 3 is what? 36, right? So there's 36 people. You're telling me they built all that shit with like what? When did they build that? What? They were there for 3 years. You're telling me Albie was the first person, people died, and they somehow built all that shit over there. Like it didn't make sense to me. The book explained that a lot better. The fight scene with Galley, that shit was not in the book. Shit was not in the book at all. No, another fucking key important plot point. So Ben, in the book, he was already sick and he was already in bed. That he was already sick and in bed. He was already stung, you know. And then Minho goes out and finds a dead griever, and that's when Albie goes and gets into the maze and gets stung by that so-called dead griever. In the movie, Ben gets stung in the middle of the day, gets out of the maze, somehow finds Thomas, attacks Thomas, and almost kills him. Whatever. Tom doesn't do different jobs. So Thomas, in the book, he goes to Winston. He does Zart. I think he was a Bloodhound, and then he did also another job, some other job. And then he's talking about how fuck these jobs, bro. I want to be a runner. I want to be in the maze. Like it makes it feel like the runner feels like something that Thomas has to do because he's doing all these other jobs, and he's like, I don't want to be fucking in here growing food or cutting up animals or tending to the weed or whatnot. I want to go out into the maze and help people. Like I want to get out of here. You know what I mean? Like it felt like Thomas was trying to get out. Like immediately, I want to be a runner. I want to see what's out there. I want to see. In the book, it was kind of just like he's following around Newt doing some shit, and then he's like, I want to be a runner. How can I be a runner? Whatever. You already explained this. Also, I inferred when I was reading the book, I inferred this that Albie wasn't the leader all the time. I felt like Albie became the leader after, like I didn't feel like he was the first leader. I felt like he became the leader, but in the movie, he's the leader the whole time, and he was the first person that ever popped up. There was gray clouds and rains way before usual. Then when Thomas goes into the maze, this is what happens in the book. Thomas runs into the maze. Mito freaks out, runs away, leaves Thomas by himself. Thomas deadass dragged Albie up the fucking wall by himself. By himself. That's why it felt more important. He did it by himself, and then Minho finds him later on, and he's seen what Thomas kills another one of the grievers, and he helps him do it again. And then he mentions it to everybody. Another thing, no mention of the serum at all. In the book, it was common to come up with the supplies, the serum, to save them from the grievers. In the movie, Teresa comes up and she has two in her pocket. Two in her pocket? Like, I don't know, man. I truly don't know. But whatever. Chuck and Thomas relationship not really that strong. Thomas kills a griever hole through the doors closing and not through the griever hole. That's just a minor key difference, but I just remembered it. The gathering. So after Thomas gets out the maze and he saves Albie and Newt, they tell him to get into this room. It's a gathering with only the keepers. Thomas, keep your mouth shut. This is why I felt like the book made there was a presence in the book. It felt like there was a hierarchy. It felt like there were rules. In the movie, it kind of just felt like whatever because in the gathering, everybody's there and everybody's protesting to whatever everybody says. It didn't feel like important. In the book, it felt like there were rules in place. There was a society. In the movie, there was no society. I think that's the key difference that I'm going for. There was no society in the movie. In the book, it felt like there was a society. It felt like there was law. It felt like there was rules. It felt like there was shit that was going on that felt like important. But in the book, not so much. And then also Minho suggests that Thomas be a runner, but not the keeper of the runners. In the book, he did. The box opens up in the middle of the meeting. Teresa came literally the next day after Thomas, not like 3 days later in the movie. It was Thomas, and then literally the next day Teresa comes, and then I think the next day after that, what's it called? Thomas goes into the maze, and she was passed out the whole time. Teresa says Thomas's name in front of everybody, not just Albie and Newt. Minho and the four go into the maze to find the dead griever, not Minho and Albie. The way the maze is set up is completely different to the book. It's kind of similar with the 8 sections, but the way that they get out, completely different. Thomas is not given a crash course at all. It's kind of just like a little blang, here we go, let's go out. Like, there was no telepathy between Thomas and Teresa. Teresa really doesn't know Thomas, but she's familiar with them. And she doesn't, like, Teresa was a really big key piece in the book. She tells Thomas, she writes on her fucking arm, wicked is good. She tells Thomas, we were sent here to end the maze or whatever. We're important. We did this to them. She tells Thomas all these key things that are important to the storyline. Doesn't happen in the movie. That's why I felt like she wasn't important. Teresa having the serum in her pocket didn't make sense. Minho, oh, hold on, my fault. Minho doesn't chase after. Oh, so. My fault, my fault. Minho doesn't really take charge. It feels like Thomas is running the show. It irked me when that happened. Another thing, Gally doesn't do that one night speech. So Gally ran away into the maze. He comes back out from the maze. When the maze doors didn't close, he runs into the building and he makes a fucking huge speech of how they're gonna kill one every night and that what's it called? It's all Thomas's fault and blah 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 blah. Right? That's what Gally does. In the book, this shit just opens. People just start dying. It's not one every night. Albie just sacrifices. Like, he doesn't get sacrificed himself. Albie just dies in the glade. He just dies. And he never mentioned the flare. Not once. And then, so, because of that, when Zart got taken, which was important, he's one of the keepers. Zart gets taken. Mino doesn't chase after him to see where they go. It kind of just happens. And also, Thomas, when he gets stung, he doesn't chase after him and then fight off the griever, get stung that way. He just finds a little pincher and that's it. I felt like there were so many scenes that didn't feel important. Like that stabbing scene, it should have felt way more important than it was in the movie. He just felt like whatever. Gally taking control and banished them. He was not a leader in the book. 41 people go into the maze with Thomas to final battle. It was 12 in the movie. Final battle was a lot more exciting in the movie than it did in the book. But the book explained it well, but just seeing that visual was a lot better. It wasn't a slide. It was just a long tunnel. There was no mention of beetle blades in the entire movie. I should have put this in the fucking beginning. How are they watching you guys? They're, in the beginning, they showed them this is a beetle blade. This is how the fucking creators are watching us. Not shown at all in the entire movie. And then when they finally get to the wicked like little place, Ava's there, not there in person. She's not there in person. She's literally like a video. Wicked it already looks like it's taken out. All the fucking scientists are killed. The screens are smashed. It doesn't make any sense. And so in the book, Ava's talking about, okay, this is one more final test, and Gally walks up and he has a gun and he looks like fucking possessed. In the movie, everybody's already dead. So Gally pulls up with a gun. Gally was in the maze like 10 minutes ago. Gally was in the maze 10 minutes ago. I want you to explain this to me. Thomas and them fought off the fucking whole crew, got through everything, and then Gally just shows up with a gun at the final battle. Biggest plot hole. Like, I need somebody to explain this to me. How the fuck did that happen? How did that happen? I need somebody to explain it to me. That shit was just out of nowhere. This dude was in the fucking maze still. There's no way he passed through the whole maze, got through where they got through, and then made it, and then found a gun out of nowhere. That shit pissed me off. The rescue was different because Ava wasn't there. Ava doesn't get shot in front of them. Like in the book, she gets shot and then they get rescued on a bus. In the movie, she's not there. Minho kills Gally. These guys rush in, take them out, put them on a helicopter, and the fucking maze looks huge. And then the epilogue was great in the book, and in the movie, Ava's over there telling everybody, and it looked amazing. I feel like that epilogue was great, but that was the key differences. Overall, I say the book is definitely better than the movie. I feel like it explained a lot more. There was less plot holes. It was a lot more important characters and important themes in the book than the movie. I feel like the movie's a solid 7, 8 out of 10, and I feel like the book was definitely an 8.5. One of my favorite books. I read it a while ago when I was in middle school, and yeah, I still like it to this day. But overall, yeah. If you like the video, comment anything I missed. Peace.